son over here at Deen, where Kahathi, he said he heard Imam Mohammed use a term for black people. And he said he had never heard it before. At Dell, he said he used the term pitiable. Yeah. That most black people today are pitiable. I said that's heavy. But that's true. That's in the message of concern. Pitiable. Okay. Yeah. So we need to stop being pitiable and learn to love each other. And when you were talking about salam, that's another thing that reached my mind. The greeting. That in the secular world, you hear people say, I love you. Well, not in the world, but on television, Hollywood, which is really our world. Most of us spend more hours of our life in fantasy land, which is TV, computers, media, even magazines and books. Magazines and books, that ain't the real world. The real world is your neighbor next door. And the man on the corner when you walk to the grocery store. What was I getting at? Salam. Love. Peace. Salam. Oh, they say love. I said it. Did I say love?
You said love.
Okay, love. Thank you. And they say I love you more. And that's a good thing. When I used to hear that, I said, why does that ring in my ear? When I hear somebody say, I love you, honey, on a TV show or sitcom or something, they say, I love you more, you know. I said, that's our greeting.
That's right.
So Prophet Muhammad, over 1,400 years ago, and see, Allah don't leave his creation or his world alone. Those influences from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why I was thinking if we could come up with a title for the Savior's Day where we recognize Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as being a leader for the day, more so than any other time.
That's right.
That our beloved Prophet,
that's right.
and the way that the Quran is guiding the future. Through Prophet Muhammad, through the Quran, really revelation, Allah is our Savior. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through the revelation of the Holy Quran, is our Savior, and Muhammad, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is the vessel, the human connection that we have to identify that God put in us from the very beginning, from Adam, what we needed to survive anything. Because everything we survive, and right now, you can trace it back to, I can't think of it right offhand, but you can show these things in Prophet Muhammad. Like the technology, cutting off the social nature. Imam Muhammad said the highest purpose for a human being is social life, is community life. That we're first and foremost, we're social creatures, human beings. That's being, the devil see that and hear Imam Muhammad say, a lot of times the devil sleep on stuff if he didn't reach your ear. But as soon as the devil hears something reach your ear, I'm not talking about white people, I'm talking about Shaitan, the enemy of all people. As soon as he hears that it reached your ear, that's a challenge for him to corrupt that and destroy and diminish that powerful thing and make it something worthless. So he heard Imam Muhammad saying that human beings are social creatures, so they push antisocial behavior. Selfishness, greed, materialism. Now you got the computer and the cell phone. You can sit in the same room with a person and talk to them and interact with them and never see their face. Just put this helmet on and look at a movie screen. That's you and him climbing this mountain. You know? But Allah dealt with that. We met at the Parliaments of Real Religion. It's a community, a charity, I think they call Shoulder to Shoulder. And there was a representative there, and she sent a greeting. She said she was from D.C. or somewhere. And I said, Walaikum assalam. I said, shoulder to shoulder. I said, you know, that's us. I said, that is what makes us unique as God-fearing people. We at the Parliament of World Religion, they were boasting, 1,000 religions, or however many hundreds of religious groups represented there. I said, what makes us unique from everyone else is that we stand shoulder to shoulder. And that also is the answer today that Allah blessed the Prophet with for us today for this social problem that we have, where everybody's an individual and not a community. You can't be a Muslim and not be a community.
That's right.
You have to stand next to your brother shoulder to shoulder at least once a week. Or when you pray, if it's two of you, one of you pray lead. So our governmental system is well established. And the answers and the solutions to everything is in the Holy Quran. And Imam Muhammad is living proof. He spent 33 years knocking the devil out at every station. Every station. That's not an exaggeration. And that's not me coloring something. I'm literally.
No, I enjoyed the way you phrased it.
Yeah, you identify the devil. He used to like to box. He was dealing knockout blows at every step. Or halal. He used to say halal. That's me saying knockout blows. But he used to say he was halal. So he said he'd make him halal. Yeah. So his razor was sharp. His sword was sharp. And he dealt with him appropriately and didn't cause him no pain. That's Muslims sharpen the sword for halal because they don't want to cause any injury to the meat. Because we believe it taints the meat. It poisons, it makes the meat not healthy or fit for human consumption when you send the meat through some type of trauma. So, but he dealt with the devil like a fine steak. He laid, you know, but that's because of Prophet Muhammad. That's because of the revelation of the Holy Quran. Here's a man from poor ghettos of Detroit, uneducated. Father had 3 years of formal education, you know, and here this man able to fight with the best minds and contend with the best minds and leave with friends. He had friends all over the world. When we went to the parliaments of the world religion, what they call it? It's an interreligious. No. What they call it? They didn't call it a conference.
No.
Oh,
Summit. No. Thank you, brother. David, I'm gonna have to. We're gonna have to put David up here. They can be on point all the time. Well, alhamdulillah. Yeah. When they were looking for my name tag, I wonder why they couldn't find it. I said, well, we're going to have to get us all in here. I think Elam got his name tag. I don't think he had a problem. But I was trying to get mine. When my name tag came out, everybody else's name tag had their name on it. Mine had a title on it. And it said, trustee. I said, this sounds familiar. I said, Imam Mohammed was a trustee of Religious for Peace, which our first meeting I attended, and I discovered that they walked me into the stakeholders meeting at the table where everybody else was outside the doors in the White House when President Barack Obama first became president. And I said, wow, man was a stakeholder? He just used to promote and mention these places. I didn't realize he was like a stakeholder, founder, or executive. So I became an executive member, an executive president. And I said, oh, this sounds familiar. They said trustee, and then trustee emeritus. And I said, that sounds like Italian. What is that? Latin. That sounds like Latin or something. So I just hit Robin's name on the phone. I said, Robin, what does this mean? She sent it back. I said, you ever heard this, trustee? Emeritus. Emeritus. That's how I say it. Okay, English. See, I brought this up in the right place. See? This is what we have these gatherings for. See? Like y'all think Google make you smart? Sitting in this room make me smart. So alhamdulillah. Yeah, emeritus. That means, I can't give you the exact definition, but it means a person who is due to their work, their past established work or known for. I guess that's like maybe a leader.
Amir.
An Amir.
Amir is the word.
Amir is the word. Oh,
It's
yeah.
the root of it.
It's the root. Yeah, so, and Amir. So I said, well, this is something, no matter how hard the petty black people that my father had to deal with, and that I realized Muhammad do, that we deal with, I'm like, the work that you do, the good that you do, Allah does not let it be diminished 1 iota. Because Allah knows I wasn't there for me. I was there because it was like my bucket list. I said that we have shown the life of Imam W. Muhammad through the ministry of the Mosque that he is still alive, his community is still alive, and that we still have the hunger and the desire to establish all those things that he stood for in our hearts and minds, and that he stood for the world, that we are still here. And guess what? He also has a son, physical in the flesh, who carries the love for him in his heart and in his mind to the best of his ability, and we here. And that's just such a great mercy and a blessing, and it's proof that Allah is in control, that Allah has the power to to help you to overcome those things. So we have to just be more trusting in Allah. And but as a people, as African American people, we should, most of us, our problem is we pass judgment on others. You see, they said, well, Wallace wearing a different suit today. I don't even think I had a job when my mother or father, I think somebody gave him a suit, and all the other suits I wear, half of them, Brother Dawood, we pray a lot that he recovers from, he's a little weak from some illness he had. He's was in the nursing home for a while. But this brother was, he sold suits for many, many years, and even sold suits for our community. But he gave me half the suits I had. And this suit, I put it on this morning, and it buttoned. So I said, it's like I got something for free. Now, you're not supposed to hoard stuff, but this thing been hanging in my, it wasn't in mothballs, but it should have been, for at least 25 years. At least 25 years.
That's good, though.
Right? I had not put it on, so thanks to Allah. And it's in good shape because I wash it and I take care of it. And we can do the same thing. You keep what you have. I ain't bought nothing new in a long time, but what I have, I keep it clean. I was looking through my Amazon account. They still had this on the Amazon account. I had no idea what these for. This is like almost over 15 years. I had to go over 15 years. And this thing is new to me. This is high tech. This is new technology. And it's bizarre to me because I remember when it came out, it was like studio quality. And I remember when I purchased it, you know. But if you take care of what Allah gives you, He will bless you with the full benefit of whatever that provides. And then like other poor immigrants to America, Caucasians, Polish, Asians, a lot of them that have families, they pass what they have to their children. And then guess what? Just think if you could pass a loan-free, lien-free mortgage to one of your children. Where that will put them, and how much freedom that will put them. They go to probably any university that they want to, and get an education and make even more money and achieve goals. So that's what we have to do as a people. We have to think long term. Slavery has taught us this to be very short term. When that bell ring, every few hours, ding, ding, like we saw in Louisiana last year, that was the extent of our planning. It was. It wasn't Friday like it is now. Now we can plan from paycheck to paycheck. And I almost paid that bill off last Friday. Next Friday, I'm gonna pay some more on it. You know, and that's where most of us are. But first, I gotta go and buy something new to impress my neighbor, my coworker, and then get more debt. So, but that ain't gonna do it. That ain't gonna make it. You know, and that's what keeps us enslaved. The slaves in the plantation had more probably material freedom than we have today. Probably. You know, yeah, because they planted something out in the field. The master didn't know that was his. Nobody came and took it because he was going to be there for the next 5 generations. His great grandkids was going to be in that field. You see? Alhamdulillah. I really enjoyed the meeting today. I appreciate y'all staying long. And if there's a game or something on, please don't beat me up too bad. Because I'm done. Yes, sir.
May I get 2 quick comments in? One,
Yes, sir.
to reinforce what you were saying. I don't know if you were consciously or dancing around it, but your father definitely coined a phrase for Prophet Muhammad, and he said, Prophet Muhammad is the leader of the modern world.
I was trying to get that. Now, I may not have heard that.
And he did make a statement on his CD that the Imam should echo that. This
I like
was
that.
years ago.
Do you go to the committee meetings on
I tried.
You might want to suggest that. Because sometimes we get some suggestions that you can tell that no thought went into it. They grabbing at straws.
But we'll reinforce that over and over again till it comes out. So that was one of the things that I know he definitely.
Nobody needed saving more than us.
The leader of the modern world.
We've been saved. We got nothing that we can really complain about today. That we on equal footing as Muslims and as Americans. Yeah, we are. Yeah. But we don't have unity.
Second, while I got the chance, can we get it put in? I just left out, but to reinforce what was brought up about trust, because some of my research reinforced exactly what the brother Ahmed said about wills. A lot of us don't know that when things are passed over in wills, I'm dealing with some of these issues right now. There's inheritance tax and things like that those things become subject to, and the powers of the courts allow them to take that item and sell it just to relinquish the court's debt. So one of the things,
I think he had a comment on what you said.
I know his hand gonna shoot up on that because it's going to excite anybody to know. But one of the things that I do want to, while I got a little chance to say that, is a living revocable trust, and that we should have several classes on this so that more of us become aware
The
of
wife
the
is
simple
His
way,
wife is here, she
Yeah.
taking
the
notes.
simple way to guard our possessions, and do it before your parents get too old. Because when they get old and get senile, they might be stuck in a mold. I'm saying a lot without saying a lot. But if we can get these things dealt with when we're younger, those things will be in place when your child's a teenager. And then when you get older, revocable trusts allow you to always have say-so. And then when you pass, nothing goes to probate court. It bypasses probate court.
Oh, yeah?
So it's never subject to inheritance.
I got a lot of stuff, so I better get busy.
So, just thinking that.
I don't neglect or waste nothing. You'd be surprised at stuff I keep. I'll be polishing stuff that people threw in the trash. And they don't know it, and then when they see it, they go, where'd you get that? I'm like, you threw that in the trash. And he laughing because he know I ain't lying. I found stuff white folks moved, the Polish, the community turned them African American, some Greek, some Polish, they leaving. They set some stuff out on the curb. It's in my living room. And when people come in my house, they get jealous because they think I paid some money for it. I'm polished here. I use some of that old English. Lord, my witness. It's funny to me.
Where did that come from?
Okay. Yeah, Trust Street Eminence is an honorary title conveyed by a governing board upon a former trustee, I remember this, of an institution or recognizing exemplary service. It usually signifies an ongoing relationship with the trustee, typically this is an example we need to follow, typically as an ambassador of the organization. You see? Imam, W.D. Mohammed, president of the Mosque. Oh, this is what you wrote. Okay. So basically what they saying is that we trusted your father and we trust you. We were here for him, we here for you. And your community, you know, and we acknowledge something that a lot of people run around saying they ain't gonna acknowledge. You don't have to acknowledge me at all. Just keep doing what you're doing, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. And Allah is gonna keep a record of what both we do. Right? You know? So, I ain't sweating it. Yes, sir.
Yeah, see, first thing your father said when he came into office, because the white man is the devil, that he was our problem. First thing he used was grafted Caucasian mentality. He ain't say corporation. He said, and everyone in America is thinking with artificial brains. You're not using human logic, human reason, human rationale. You have every right to do that. Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution, power denied the state. The reason you gotta have a trust, and the big dogs, they set up what they know they need. They can't take it from you. When I say unilateral, that means you only putting one signature on something. They're gonna take everything from you because you're becoming liable for something you didn't dictate. That's dictatorship. No state shall make a law that would abridge the obligation, means your word and your promise, of a contract, legal or moral. Your religious, even getting married, is a mutual. Okay? That means two people are coming together. You'll never see the word man or woman in nothing you study from the legal profession. They do not deal with men and women. You have your broad free will. So when you do a trust, it's a contract. Somebody's bringing something to the table that has some substance.
Yeah.
Everything in your trust is something of value, something of substance, not a promise.
And they know stuff. They know.
Oh, they know.
Because I just told you my part. Now, what they know is probably way more than what I know. The ones that's working against our community, trying to make it look like Imam Mohammed left something. As far as I'm concerned, he had one possession. Usually a person's possession is something that he maintained and kept and took care of. And that he kept, that had some value to him.
But what I told you, legal means to knowingly volunteer by contract to brave or give up your rights.
My father was
Of
not a materialistic
value.
person. So,
Absolutely.
you know, it's sad to say, but he didn't have no material possessions. You know, he didn't have physical things like you think. And I would say one possession he had, I used to see often, you open his wallet, be a picture of Farad. he had on his nightstand next to his bed, like in a little jury box. It's a picture of Farad. Yeah. So he spent his whole entire life coming to terms with what that man meant to him, his parents, and his people. And dealing with it head on once he discovered the Quran, the Holy Quran, and the life of Prophet Muhammad, and Prophet Muhammad became his leader, then he felt empowered. He said none of the other stuff he read ever empowered him the way the Quran empowered him to unravel the mystery of that man Farad. So Imam Muhammad, as far as I'm concerned, he was a superhero. He had a nemesis. He had to break down, he had to tear down that false god, and he had to build us to back up and restore us to our rightful place as the property of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, as his sole property. You know? And I think he did a really good job of those that followed us. He restored us, because I feel restored. I could never be a slave to anybody. I'm not saying I'm not, you know, but as soon as you point it out to me, I'll try to do something. I'll try to block it, because we don't live in the natural world. Black people especially don't live in the real world. We don't control our resources. As a human being, as an individual, I guarantee you that each one of us are dynamic and just phenomenal, great individual human beings. But as a community, that's our true value and our true worth. So until we become communities like other people, you know, we are, you know, spiritually under the leadership of Imam Muhammad. But until we establish ourselves and manage ourselves, and with confidence and with excellence, not saying that other people are so excellent, it's easy to do. We can easily do it. But it's hard to do without a whole lot of courage. And we on our way. It's a lot of sisters. Our sisters, I'm counting on them too. Yeah. A lot of our sisters are courageous, and you know, I'll support them. Because I can't make no excuses. My mama raised me to be a man. A man's supposed to take care, look out for women. You know, even if you get your butt kicked a couple of times, trying. I'll take a few, you know, aid witnesses if I have to protect the sisters. Then I can say I was just protecting my sister. Why can't we do that?
Right.
Let our sisters try to establish something for our community and let us support them. Yeah. You know, because a lot of us, you know, has given up in our hearts. And now they coming after your manhood. They try to make sissies out your boys and stuff. And I'm not being homophobic either. When I say sissies, I mean sissies in the literal sense. They want your boys to act like girls. And a lot of girls are a lot tougher than a lot of the boys. It's real, for real. But all jokes aside, but I thank Allah, because we can't do anything without Allah's will. I thank Allah for helping us, and for helping us to have our eyes open and to see and appreciate His mercy that He's had on us throughout our entire lifetime and throughout this community. Because it's nothing more important than us. What they're going to write in the pages of history is that them people stuck together, that they took everything from. Because I know people look at me, if people knew half of the stuff I've been through, they would say, why the hell you even smile? Why you speak to people? How come you don't just cut people's throat? You know, but I don't look at the negative all the time, right, or only. I look at the positive, I look at the good, and I say, how could I be that ungrateful to think that I'm grateful that I survived a lot of things that I survived. So how could I be that ungrateful to dwell on some negative stuff? And then when I see the stuff that other people, they think I'm insensitive, because the things that they grovel over and the little petty, jealous things, the little small-minded stuff, I wonder how does that have room in your heart when there's so much more that God has blessed you with already. You know, we're from the old school. If you was that weak or ungrateful, would your parents like knock your head into another dimension of existence?
Say something to wake you back up.
Yeah, ungrateful. So when you see people behaving ungrateful and don't appreciate things, if they won't go to church, you put them in church. Like Ahmed do in his car. The kids that ride with him in his car. He give them a cook box. And I do too. I don't care if they don't like it. Sometimes I look at them and the man that they look, the happier I am. Like, so I got him that time. Like he upset. I hope he go jump up and run out in traffic or something. And if Allah save him, good. But you don't let people get away with destroying what Allah gave them as the greatest mercy in existence in the universe. We're more valuable than the sun and the moon. We are. Son in the moon can't build a house and raise a family. You know, to keep us alive. So the material, the spiritual is greater than the material. That's all I'm saying. And that's what we have to nurture. We have to nurture human lives. And if you see them going to somewhere that's going to destroy them, we have to pull them away from it.
That's right.
And if you have to clench your fist. You know. And I think a lot of times when people know you bad enough to hit them, you don't have to hit them. Yeah. I threaten first. I bark before I bite. But I do bite. Alhamdulillah. But I enjoyed this, and Elam, I owe him a game or something. Who's playing tonight? Somebody playing tonight. Don't say it, Elam. Man, you make me feel like a liar. I was just messing with you. See, didn't I tell you? All right.
Bears already lost.
Alhamdulillah. Thank y'all. Keep in touch with the emails that we send out, the updates that we get, and if you had a time on Tuesday nights, join the committee.
Yes,
Is it
the,
Tuesday night?
8 o'clock
8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. For the committee meetings, and you can play a role. You can have a part, and go to our website. We put Imam Muhammad's lecture that he gave, and it was heartfelt about what impressed him so much about Savior's Day, and why Savior's Day was something that he couldn't just omit from the lives, from his life personally, because his explanation, it's not like he was talking more about him as an individual than the whole community. He was a witness. He's just a little boy. He wasn't in the leadership. He wasn't. Farad and Clara and Honorable Elijah Muhammad, they were in leadership and the believers, but he was just a child as a witness. And he said that there was one light, like a candle, that was made to, they must have had vaulted ceilings, he said, to illuminate the upstairs where the people were so that they can enjoy sweet potato pie, predated the bean pie in Savior's Day, and the red delicious apple. And he said, because of the spirit of the environment that they were in, he said that was the happiest time of his life. And he said they didn't even have electricity in their house, on the south side of Chicago.
That's right.
Yeah, on the south side of Chicago, no electricity. And he was happy. I remember days like that. You know, sitting in the park, you know, in the summer, eating watermelon with my dad. He used to like watermelon. We used to eat watermelon on a hot summer day, and not worrying about nothing. That's what we need to do. Start worrying about materialism and money, and start worrying about the time we spend with each other. Yeah. It's hard to do. You gotta chase that dollar and that technology. Yeah. So keep chasing that dollar, keep chasing the technology, but take some time out for yourself and try to do something for your soul. Allah asks us to do that. That we can have self-interest, but always take the time out to do something good for your soul. Give charity, make a prayer, make a dua. You know, take the time. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
No, thank
That's
you.
what I like. Is this still on?
Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, this is still on.
We're in the announcement phase.